okay, you're that good looking of a person, and you can be out there,
and
like, you're not communicating with me.
We all struggle with it.
You're wearing, I don't know, God knows what outfit. You know what
I mean, chat.
BBC.
Yo,
The BBC.
Oh. So, we talked about a lot. There's a couple other things I want to cover before we get into my favorite part of the show, which I'm not going to discuss yet. We'll get there. However, a couple more things that we need to discuss. One, because I know that before you coming here onto this episode, we talked a little bit about what makes your relationship special, in particular. And one of those things that you mentioned, which I think is something that our entire generation struggles with significantly, is communication styles. So, I want us to kind of go over exactly why you think your relationship has a positive communication style. What makes that unique to your relationship, what allows it to work, and how does that impact your relationship? Can you guys talk about that?
Yeah. I think something that we both learned quite quickly early on was that we had been in a lot of other relationships where there was negative communication,
right,
or there just wasn't communication at all. And early on, I had quickly came to the realization that I really liked her. And I didn't want...
We know. We know.
I quickly was like, all right, I don't want anything to make this go wrong. And especially communication. So up from the very beginning, I was like, I'm an open book. Ask me anything you want to know. Let's talk about anything we want to know about each other. And just be truthful and be honest about it. And I know that that's hard for a lot of people.
And it was hard because we were doing long distance.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Kind of like we kind of had to.
Yeah. It was literally like, because it wouldn't have been worth it if we weren't being 100% upfront, 100% truthful.
Right.
About literally everything.
Right.
And there's no I don't think there was ever a perfect time to ever say anything. We kind of just said it. I'd just be like, what about this XYZ? She might have been at the pool in Phoenix. I was in my bed. I was like, I'm curious about this. X just sent the text, and then we talked for an hour, 2 hours, or whatever, and then we moved on. And it's crazy as it sounds, it can be that simple where you just have a conversation just to have the conversation. You don't have to make a grand gesture out of everything.
But grand gestures are nice.
Sometimes they are.
Like a month ago, we had an anniversary dinner last night. And he was like, in a month, this was a month ago, he's like, in a month, I would love to sit down and talk about, we bring 3 things each that we would love to improve upon in our relationship so that, overall, we're just showing up better for one another. And I was like, that's so cool. I would never have really thought of that myself. I was like, this is so healthy. That's so crazy. And I feel like that was just eye-opening to see. And one of the things that we talked about last night was overthinking. Yeah. And I feel like that's a problem that everyone has inevitably. Sometimes you just you never really know the other person that you're trusting your heart with. So it's important to be open about it and not to be scared. And if you are feeling any type of way, bless you, you want the other person to help. You don't want to go through it alone. If you're ever I'm afraid of what they'll think of me or what they'll say or how they'll react, and that's maybe not the right person for you, or you need to talk to them about that. So one of the things I told him, I was like, if you're overthinking or if I'm overthinking, just tell me, and then we can work on it together. Why would you go through that alone?
No, I think that's really important. That's really important because your mind is dangerous. It can do a lot internally, which is exactly why you should be communicating what's in your mind, because someone else can help you filter out the bad from the good, what's useful, what's irrelevant, right? Because your mind is a closed loop. You're just going to continue to feed yourself more and more of what you already think.
Exactly.
And so that's why it's important to get a different perspective. But this actually leads me to my next question. Anna, for you, I know exactly why Akosa, or I think Akosa's done a pretty good job explaining why he felt motivated to come to this relationship with a better communication style because of how that's impacted his past relationships. What do you think has incentivized you to kind of match that energy? Because a lot of people, into relationships where sometimes it feels a little one-sided. Like somebody comes in, I'm trying to make it work. The other person may not necessarily have gone through other, may have not have had the same background to warrant wanting to come in with the same energy.
Yeah.
What do you feel like has helped you or enabled you or has caused you to do that?
I feel like it's the fact that he has shown up the way he has. It's very much a respecting. Like I respect him too much to not show up for him in the ways that he's able to. And sometimes, and I talked to him a little bit about this, but we were in like long relationships before this. In that healing process, there's no timeline. So to ask him to just be patient with me, or just that I needed more time on certain things, because he'll write me like beautiful poems, and I'm speechless. Like I don't even know what to say. But like I'm just like
Yeah. I know. I give that to you. Yeah.
The thing is that I know what he deserves, and like it's like a very big grand gesture type of love.
Yeah.
And,
Wow.
And if I'm just not there yet, it's not like I think we both know it's not our fault. Like it's not my fault. It's not his fault. It's not anything that either of us is doing wrong. So I feel like just being proactive in that sense, just like, hey, I'm not there yet. I want to be there someday, but you don't ever want that stuff to come first. Like, so just being honest about what you need and when, and I feel like that's what helps the most.
I remember the
awesome.
first time that like I was able to like really process that was, I think it was when you heard one of like my songs that I had written. And I don't know why, but I was like, you know what? When you interpret art, you don't understand it the first time you hear it. There's always, even if you put yourself in a blank room, it's just you listening to music or you looking at an art piece. Like you're never going to fully appreciate it or understand it always immediately in that moment.
Right.
Sometimes it just takes a little bit. Some of the best art pieces in the world are still being reinterpreted today. They were made thousands of years ago. So how can you can't just expect someone to just get it. But you know it's different when you know that they want to.
Yeah. I would never want to like I see how much potential the relationship has, and the fact that we're just growing on our own. Like as soon as we graduated, it was just like this huge transitional period that would be hard on anybody. And then the fact that I didn't know if I was going to be in New York, and like what if we had to do long distance for longer. Like we both knew that whatever we had was really special, and we wanted to work towards it, even if there were a lot more unknown factors than there were known. And I feel like that's just applicable in every part of your life. I feel like that's but yeah, just like knowing that you're willing to put that work in and what you want is the most important.
Wow, this is so beautiful. Like, are you guys like making this up or like? I mean, like, come on, like, it's like
yeah, we actually practiced on the way here.
He was standing outside your door rehearsing.
I could have sworn I heard you out there. Yeah, who's that whispering?
We hacked your account to know what you wanted to ask. My coding skills.
No, this is awesome. Though. This is awesome. It really, I just want to keep echoing. Like, you guys are really the epitome of, let's not think too much about what we're doing, and let's focus on each other. And that's all you really need. To navigate
it can
life.
be easy.
It's literally that simple. And that's crazy.
The trust makes like all the difference. Like the fact that I trust him so much. Like I've never experienced I've only ever been in one other relationship, but like this foundation of trust that we've had like since the beginning has made all the difference.
Wow. Which also helps you to respect him, right?
Yeah.
And to be there for him in those ways. Take notes, guys. Take notes. This is how to do it. This is the blueprint.
This is the master class.
They're mapping it for you. All right. Leads me on to my next question. So you guys mentioned, I think, you were just talking about it, how, it was last week of senior year and there's a lot more unknowns than knowns. And I don't know, what was the timeline again between when you guys had first done that week and then to the point of asking out and like getting into the relationship?
May 22nd to May 26th was graduation. May 22nd was the day I went over to her apartment.
Right.
May 26th, 27th was graduation weekend. And then May 31st was when she was flying back and I asked her at the airport.
Wow. So
And I didn't know. And then like 2 weeks later.
And then 2 weeks later, I
3 weeks
officially
later.
used the word girlfriend.
Right. And I was like, that's new.
So whole official process is under a month. The unofficial process was even under that. It was like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So do you feel, a lot of people think that they need to spend so much time being pensive about the potential relationship they want to enter into. Did you feel at the moment like this is going a little too fast, either one of you? And did you feel, in a sense, do you feel like this was moving a little too fast for you, and why? And then also, how did you overcome that? Because obviously you're still here. So yeah, tell us about that.
I think it does like overlap a little bit with answer from before, but I did think we were moving really fast, and it was because I had literally just come out of another relationship that meant a lot to me. But just being transparent about that, and when things did get a little overwhelming at times, or like it did just feel too fast, just being honest about that and being like, okay, I just need time and space. I think it helped that, and like in that sense, it helped that I was in Arizona for a lot of, or like traveling. So I had that like my own space to heal. And then like the healing process, like it's hard, and I didn't really get any time to just like be alone with myself. But the fact that I was across the country and we were able to take that time and space like when we needed it or when I needed it, I was just honest about it. And I was like, hey, we need to like slow down just a little bit.
And this is gonna be the insight or the takeaway, I guess, for people who are, well, there's a couple, but one of the things I also want to get at is what helped you, I guess, to kind of go through that, because even though you felt that this is moving a little fast, you guys are still here, right? And you obviously were still okay with it, but it was that distance and the time and space away from him that actually allowed you to kind of grow into it.
And I think that
Do you feel like
he
that
would
was
have
cause,
allowed
or-
me that same grace
Like
if
you
I
guys were
was
together.
here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, what would have happened what would you have liked to see if he was here? Because some people are going through that where it's like, I want to move fast with this girl, or I want to move fast with this guy.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to approach that.
I feel like one of the most important parts of a relationship is to have a friendship first. And we weren't even, like, it moved so fast. So, like, I was like, I guess we were friends before. Like, I knew of you, and I was, like, going to, like, we were going to similar parties. But I sat down one time, and I was just like, hey, I think that we should build more of a friendship. Like, I think that that would help me kind of be more vulnerable with you in a romantic sense.
And we did.
And yeah, and I'm trying to think like, what did we do that like made like strengthened our friendship? And I think it's just like, like going to concerts or hanging out with each of our friend groups, like trying to do group settings more and just figuring out what works for you, because obviously everyone's different.
Right. And then one of the things that I remember was when I drove back up to Cornell, and I had to pick up some stuff that I left in my house, and then I had an event for one of my clubs that I'd been in. And on the way back, well, she had made like a playlist for me, and I had been playing it, and like I was just like, let me just call her out the blue, right? So I called you at like, or no, I think we had texted I was gonna call you during the trip, and then we like FaceTime for like 2 hours, just like, well, not FaceTime, but like we called. I wasn't looking. I was driving, of course. No texting and driving, guys. No calling and driving. She was on my little car phone holder thing.
Okay. That's
Right, and like
Giving
Oh,
Uber.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Why do you have one of them? She talked to me, I guess. But
well, excuse me, guys.
I
Sorry.
didn't know that people had those.
What were you thinking, man? What were you thinking? I'm kidding.
Okay.
But for like the last 2.5 hours of the trip, like we just like talked like as if we were just friends.
Wow.
Yeah, because there was no like we weren't sitting right next to each other, and
Right.
like there's no temptation. Like I was across the country, like
Right, so you're forced to literally just
to-
get to know who each
Each
other,
other,
are.
exactly.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's fortunate, really.
Right,
because
and
the
yeah,
distance
like the
brings
long
you closer.
yes, the long distance was like it had its con, like it was hard.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
definitely think that like we were able to develop an
Use
even
it.
stronger relationship because of it.
Yeah,
Wow.
we definitely used it to our benefit.
So it sounds like you guys had like a very positive, because that's what I was going to talk about next. Sounds like you guys had a very positive long distance situation, right? Like where it was healing and mending for your relationship versus others who feel like, oh, the time apart actually helps us to grow apart. You actually think that
yeah.
helped you guys to get closer.
Yeah.
But that's also because of the timing or the timeline of your relationship. I wonder if this would have contrasted if you guys had already been dating for 6 months. Right?
Yeah,
Where
I
you didn't
don't
need
know.
that.
'Cause I've
period
been there,
anymore.
done that, and
It's not as fruitful.
it was always
right?
it was always the opposite end.
That was the type of relationship that I had gotten out of before we had started, where we had been dating 3-ish months, and then it was long distance, and it was like we ended up growing apart.
And when
Yeah,
the trust
yeah.
isn't there, like
Yeah, especially.
when you think about, sometimes you're in a relationship and the person has like so much say, or like everything that they do, it like affects you, like
Yeah.
it would give you like anxiety or
Yeah.
make you feel bad about yourself. And when
Yeah.
someone has that much control over you, it's so unhealthy.
Yeah.
And the fact that we were away and I could just like fully trust him and be like, I don't know what he's up to right now, but I know that like that I'm my heart is safe, you know. It's like the most important part.
And then me, I text all the time, even if she
He
don't
does text a
respond.
lot.
Yeah.
I feel bad. Like, I had to react.
I know what you're saying.
See, I text, she reacts.
I'm the same way.
She'll do the little heart like and the thumbs up and the what's the exclamation points.
Yeah.
So I know she's seeing it. Right?
Yeah.
I don't want to fully ignore. I would never do
Yeah,
that.
she doesn't fully ignore, but she is the react queen.
Yeah, like sometimes you just have to be honest. Like one time I called him after work and I was like, I just didn't feel like texting you. Like I'm too lazy to just type everything out that I would want to say in
So you just hop
response.
on a
And so I
call.
just called him like for 5-10 minutes and it was so easy.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually very funny. The communication styles, do you think that maybe that is the one, maybe you think that's like one challenge you guys may have? Like even though your verbal communication is great.
I think we
had.
had. I think in the beginning, I was a little upset sometimes, like she wouldn't respond.
Yeah.
But then I also know that one, she was 3 hours behind me. So it's like 9 a.m. for me. It's 6 a.m. for her. So she's not awake.
I would
Yeah,
wake up
that's
at like,
very
it was
fair.
summer. I was traveling. I was jet
Right.
lagged
No,
all the
he's
time.
waking
I
up
would wake up at like noon.
She's waking up
Yeah.
at noon.
3.
I'm texting
Yeah.
her at 8:45 in the morning, not getting response till 3 p.m.
Yeah.
And in back
Or
of
I
my
was with my family the
With the
whole time. I'm
family.
such a
Yeah.
homebody. He
No,
knew that.
for real.
Yeah.
So like at first I'm like, does this girl not give a
He thought I was outside.
right? At first I'm like, what's outside with for real? All this, you be at the pool,
I'm
you
at
be
the
in the
pool every
bikini, you be at the bars. I'm like, what's going on? I just had to remember that there is literally 2,000 miles and 3 time zones between us. like once I really like was this was for like maybe a week and a half. Once I really put it in perspective that like we literally had an entire country between us, I'm
Yeah.
like, man, this is calm. I just be chilling.
And you
Yeah.
you have the ability to like give your partner the benefit of the doubt in those situations because I've never done anything to break your
Facts.
trust. Like
Right.
so why would you doubt me? That's not
Exactly.
fair. This
Right.
is not like the same relationship that you were in before.
Exactly.
Right.
So just reminding yourself like this is a completely different relationship. Like maybe sometimes it's muscle memory to like have those like that negative thought process. But like when you really think about it and you were able to put it into perspective, I was really just by the pool with my family.
Literally.
You know?
She was by the pool with her family and she was at the bar with her sisters or her
Yeah,
friends from
exactly.
home or whatever. And I'm like, she's cool and I'm cool and it's fine.
Yeah. No, it's funny because I actually really resonate. I used to be that way. I feel like in my like when I first started off with Kiana and like in the past relationship of mine as well. I don't know. It's
The
something.
past-
I think it's more so like an insecurity of mine. Like it was hard for me to believe that. Okay, you're that good looking of a person, and you can be out there, and like you're not communicating with
We
me.
all
I know what
struggle
you're
with
doing. You're wearing, I don't know, God knows what outfit. You know what
I
I'm
mean,
saying?
chat. You can,
BBC.
Oh, what'd you say?
The BBC.
Oh,
the what?
The Billionaire Boys
The
Club
Boys
show.
Club.
Everyone.
Oh, I was like,
no,
I mean, hold on.
I don't have a BBC.
You can just know about the same.
I
Where's
know.
this
No,
podcast going,
not
chat?
here.
Hey, chat, where we going, chat?
One of the first outfits.
I didn't even peep
One of
the
the
shirt.
first outfits you ever complimented me on. I was wearing Billionaire Boys
Yes,
Club
that's true.
shorts that I got from the sample sale.
Yes.
Okay,
I couldn't see what that said. I was like, was that Balmain?
Oh, I
or
noticed
something?
that as soon as we came in. I was like,
Oh.
I like that.
She is, she is a fashion icon.
Okay,
with it.
I had a
Icon is
fashion
dope.
minor from.
Yeah.
No, I can tell. Like, you got the
She-
accessories.
she's
Like, the
with it all.
accessories are a hitter, bro.
Yeah, the chrome
Honestly.
heart.
Meanwhile,
Nah,
I look like
that'd be fire.
I just traded away people's homes. Like that's it. That's it. You know what I'm saying? I think we complement each other that way.
Oh my
I will
God.
say I've learned a lot more about fashion and makeup and like all that, like the fashion sphere, the art sphere through her for sure.
Oh, nice. Dope. Do you feel like what brands do you feel like you're getting into now because of her?
I'm not getting into anything. It's still expensive as hell. I'm building up the book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm building up the back, paying off the
Yeah,
debt,
yeah.
building up the bank.
That's the more subjective observer for that.
Right,
Man. Like,
and then you gonna catch me out with the Armani exchanges
Okay.
and I'm not.
I have
wearing-
never worn Armani exchange.
I said I will.
Okay. I was just like,
you know?
I'm talking about what I'm gonna buy for me first, and then we'll get here to love the
trying to think
Fenty
about
and the
our-
Louis and you know what I'm saying. We were talking about this actually last night when it's like, when do you want to make your first million or whatever? And I said by 29. I'm like, all right, 29. Get you a little Birkin ting,
Okay.
the little crocodile Birkin.
Okay. Why
You know
not?
what I'm saying?
Why not? Why not? It's not a whole collection. You know, I heard those are actually really good investments.
They do appreciate them.
They're
That
I
Yeah,
heard they appreciate
they're
pretty good, like 10% a year. I mean, damn, that's like, you know, that's home equity.
means I gotta buy it before 29 because by 29 it's gonna be like 200 bands.
Yeah. It's a good. That's a good investment, man. Sounds like to me. Mm-hmm. So, still on the topic of long distance, I know that there was a period of time where, and I believe you were in Charlotte, right? Or you were thinking about accepting an offer in
Yes,
Charlotte,
yes.
right? But you were in Phoenix still at the time, and you were in New York. You were about to start your job, right? Or you already had your offer. You knew what you were gonna do.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people are in that situation where, I mean, I was in that situation as well, where Kiana was in Chicago with her family when we were done with school, and she was gonna get an offer she had an offer in Austin, but I was basically already about to start my job in New York.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, you know, have this issue where they're not sure what to do: prioritize my relationship, or prioritize my career, or prioritize the place I need to be versus prioritize the person I want to be with. How do you feel like, and I know it was a little bit different for you because you have people here in New York, right? You have family here, so
I was
motivation
visiting
factors are different.
pretty often. Yeah, but
But how did you go about how did you navigate that whole process? I guess both of you anyway.
I think we were pretty clear that like, as much as we wanted this to work, we didn't want this to interfere with where we were supposed to be with our jobs because like,
individual, put yourself
yes,
first.
Right.
we put ourselves first.
Right.
And I literally told her, I was like, I don't want you to choose coming to New York over like having a job. Like, I don't want you to choose the unknown over what you know you can get in Chicago. I mean, not Chicago, in Charlotte. Sorry.
No, but like, to be fair, I was never going to move here for him.
Right.
It just so happened that like he was here, but it was always my dream to be in New York.
Right.
And so when I was thinking about Charlotte, it was purely because of a job, and I was gonna make it work, and I was gonna be there for a year, but like I was always planning to move here.
Right.
And I think we were always like, we have to prioritize us as individuals first, because if we're prioritizing one another, and like I think I was honest one point, like if I was gonna be in Charlotte, I don't think I really would have wanted to do long distance because our relationship was so fresh and so new.
Yeah.
But when there was like that inkling of like hope that I would be in New York, we were like, why wouldn't we try for this?
I started calling the prayer warriors. I was calling. I was counting on the spirits. I was saying she's coming to New York.
Yes,
I was
sir.
writing.
I was
on
manifesting it from the get-go. Like even like 6 months before I graduated, I was telling everyone that I knew, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be in New York, like don't worry about it. And they're like, oh, you have a job? I was like, no, it didn't work out. And it did. It literally, because there was a hiring freeze that hit that allowed me not to get the job in Charlotte.
Wow.
And I was crying. I was so upset because I was like, I
God's
finally
plan.
had a job like lined up, and you work so hard for that in this economy.
No, honestly, yeah.
And then it literally just worked out absolutely for the best. Like, you just have to trust the process. And I don't think and this is just me, but I feel like because we are so goal driven and like as individuals, I would never, and we would never want to hold each other back from what we could do as individuals and standing in each other's way, because that's not what a relationship is supposed to be. We're supposed to allow each other to grow like alongside one another. Sometimes there's like a lot of intertwining, but at the end of the day, we're all just like individuals and nothing is certain. So I feel like being able to let your partner prioritize themselves and just being understanding of that, that's fair. Like I feel like that you have to be fair in that and about that.
Because I got the details.
Okay.
We're in the country of Colombia.
Okay.
Outside the city of Cartagena.
Whoa.
In Barranquilla.
What?
And they sell flowers.
Oh!
Close.